When we think of Edo, it was a vast city where the authority of the samurai loomed large, and commoners lived shoulder to shoulder. Glittering theaters, the pleasure quarters of Yoshiwara, and the humble back-alley tenements where the poor dwelled, all the light and shadow of the city pressed close together. And through those shadows darted a single thief, like a mouse in the night, Nezumi Kozō Jirokichi. Jirokichi was born in either 1796 or 1797, the eldest son of Sadashichi, a doorman at the Nakamura-za theater in Edo's Sakaimachi, and his wife Kan. His birthplace was Osakamachi, today's Ningyocho in Nihonbashi. As a child, he was apprenticed to a fittings craftsman, but at the age of 16 he returned home and eventually became a Tobi Hitoshi, construction laborer and steeplejack. However, what derailed his life was gambling. He became deeply absorbed in the gaming dens, and repeated misconduct led to his father disowning him. In 1821, he was struck off the koseki, family registry, effectively severing all ties with his family. With no place to belong, the young man next turned to theft as a way to fund his gambling. This was the beginning of the career of thievery that would later shake Edo to its core. Around 1823, Jirokichi began targeting samurai residences. Though the front gates were solid, the back fences and side entrances often had weak points. Using his nimble body, he slipped inside and began stealing koban gold coins from the estates. Within about 2 years, he had broken into 28 places on 32 occasions, amassing 751 ryo and 7 kan in coins. But on February 3, 1825, he was caught sneaking into the upper residence of the Tsuchiura domain in Nihonbashi Kakigara-cho. The investigation was conducted by the Minami-machi magistrate. Jirokichi insisted, "I was caught before committing theft in this residence," refusing to admit to any other crimes. As a result, he was sentenced only to tattooing and banishment from Edo. Naka-oi banishment prohibited one from living in the 3 major cities or along the Tokaido route. In reality, however, many disguised themselves as travelers and slipped back into Edo. Jirokichi was one of them. In the new year of 1827, 800 ryo were stolen from a sake shop in Shinizumi-cho. He was detained, but concealing his past conviction, he was released. From then on, his thefts became increasingly daring. He climbed over fences, slipped through side gates, and plundered samurai mansions one after another. Small in stature, he could squeeze through the narrowest gaps, and perhaps thanks to his experience working as a carpenter at heights, he leapt nimbly from roof to roof. Before long, the people of Edo began calling him Nezumi Kozō, Mouse Boy. Former Hirado domain Lord Matsura Seizan, who was twice victimized when Jirokichi broke into his residence, wrote in his essays Koshiyawa about him repeatedly, noting many rumors. These days there seems to be a thief entering the homes of nobles and lords in the capital. He harms no one, steals no goods, only takes gold and silver. No one knows how he enters, so he is called the Mouse Boy. In total, he broke into 70 residences on 89 occasions. The reported loot amounted to about $3 to $6 million. The largest single theft was 422 ryo from the storehouse of Toda Ujitsune, lord of the Ogaki domain. But most hauls were around 10 ryo, and sometimes he left with nothing. It is said he deliberately avoided the Kaga domain residence, where his sister was in service. At last, fate caught up with him. Jirokichi broke into the Obata domain mansion of Lord Matsudaira Tadanaga in Nihonbashi Hamacho. This time, however, he was seized by samurai guards and taken straight to the Kitamachi magistrate's office. During questioning, Jirokichi boasted, "I stole about 12,000 ryo, shocking those present." But records show 99 burglarized residences on 120 occasions, totaling just over 3,000 ryo. The legend of Nezumi Kozō as a righteous thief began when, despite stealing such vast sums, he was found with only a small amount of money upon capture. Rumors quickly spread. He could not have spent it all himself. Surely the money he stole from samurai and lords was secretly distributed among the poor. In truth, however, he squandered nearly everything on gambling. Still, he was well liked at gambling dens, for he neither fled when winning nor sulked when losing, making him a favored but exploited customer. A heated debate arose during his trial. Should the punishment be harsher just because the victims were of high status? Shogunal law had no clear answer, and the case became contentious. Ultimately, 3 months later, he was sentenced to be paraded through the streets and then executed by decapitation. From the Danmacho prison, he was paraded through Nihonbashi and Kyobashi. By then a celebrity, crowds thronged the streets just to catch a glimpse. He was dressed in hemp robes with a patterned sash, smoking a pipe, and wearing a flamboyant 8-strand belt. His face was lightly powdered, an official attempt to provoke public resentment. Those who saw him described a small man with a lightly pockmarked face. His execution site is disputed, either Suzugamori or Kozukapura. A record survives of a Matsura retainer witnessing his severed head at Kozukapura, making that location more likely. He died at the age of 36, 37, or 38. Jirokichi's grave was erected at Eko-in Temple in Ryōgoku. As a righteous thief, Nezumi Kozō became celebrated in Kabuki as a figure of defiance against authority, for he targeted the estates of powerful lords, worked alone, and spared commoners. As for why he chose daimyo mansions, Jirokichi himself explained, though their gates looked imposing, security inside was lax. In the inner chambers and corridors, even officials dared not tread. If discovered, it was easy to escape. A belief took hold. If you chipped away a piece of Nezumi Kozō's gravestone and took it home, you would share in his long run of luck evading capture. The stone was gradually worn away, and today a substitute gravestone is preserved as a tangible cultural property of Sumida Ward. Those who sheltered him were said to hold divorce papers he had given them, which served as protection against punishment, a final token of his personal sense of honor. Memorial stones erected by those indebted to him remain in various places, showing how, for ordinary people, he transformed from mere thief into a bringer of fortune. Jirokichi lived a wandering life, using false names, moving from place to place, and changing wives often. Though addicted to drink, gambling, and women, he was affectionately remembered by townsfolk as Nezumi Kozō. For in his solitary thefts against the mighty lords of Edo, the people saw both exhilaration and a figure to admire. A small man who raced through Edo's nights. His name continues to be passed down, even across the centuries. Japan Bee is a channel that randomly shares information about lesser-known aspects of Japanese culture, spanning across various genres.